Mama's Boy Productions.
But the intro video clean, but that thing clean, boy. I made the beat. I struggled with the video part because that's not my forte, but the beat crazy. But we're gonna get to this video. Excuse me for the lack of intro. But hey, what's happening, everybody? Thanks for kicking it with me again. This is your boy Rico, Street Scores reporter, and this is a special edition of Redskins Report. Here I'm doing a Redskins depth chart guess, and basically just looking at the starting lineups and rotation, people that's actually going to get playing time. I'm not about to sit here and name you out 52 names. That's super dead. Most of these people ain't even going to see the field like that. So right now I'm just making a guess at the starting lineups and rotations, and then I'm going to put out a later video once the final depth chart comes out towards the end of preseason, and then compare my depth chart to theirs, see what I did wrong, see what they got wrong. You know, I'm gonna be as objective as possible. First, I'm gonna start with the offense, of course. So, quarterbacks. You already know Kirk Cousins is gonna be the starter. Hopefully, we can give him that long-term contract by July, whatever date that is, somewhere mid-July. I'm assuming it's before training camp, so I think it's like July 15th or 17th, one of them numbers over there, y'all know, in the teens. And yeah, we definitely got to get him that long-term contract because I rock with Kirk Cousins, man. He's definitely a top 15 quarterback. You know, there might be better quarterbacks out there, but if you put a team around him, you can this is definitely a Super Bowl winning quarterback if you put the right pieces around him. And we definitely took a major step in the right direction this year. I don't think we're going to get a Super Bowl this year. I would love to see it. But, you know, we going to be making some noise. We going to hurt some people this year, especially. I can see us making the playoffs this year. You know, it wouldn't be crazy if 3 NFC East make the playoffs this year. We going to make some noise, man. We got something to be hype about this year. And I know we definitely going to make progress towards the right direction. And that's all that really matters. Them Super Bowls going to come soon enough. But back to this depth chart. But we have a nice dynamic, Joe Theismann said, where the backups know their places. They're out there working to get better, but they're not conflicting with Kirk Cousins' starting job. So I like that gel that we got going right now. And running backs. Now, it's between Samaje Perine and Fat Rob who are going to be the primary ball carriers. So they're going to be splitting first and second down reps. And then my boy Chris Thompson is going to be coming out as the primary speed back and primary pass catching back, so he's more than likely going to be the third down back. And my boy Mac Brown, bro, people sleep on him. They're going to see how he get down, man. I just need him to go out there with all that talent and potential and show it. I'm going to need him to get out there and prove that he should be the first down back. You know what I'm saying? The premier running back, the one you want to pick up in fantasy. Now, with the way the carries are going to be split up, I'm scared to draft any one of these running backs in my fantasy leagues. I feel like if I had to pick one, it'd be Samaje Perine. But I've been seeing notifications and reading articles that my boy Fat Rob ain't playing out here. Like, he trying to get the starting job too. So, man, they going to be splitting carries like crazy. I feel like we're going to have a deadly running game. I don't think any individual running back in this offense is going to have crazy stats that's just jumping out at you because they got to split carries because there's so many good running backs. We don't have just one really dominant running back and then a whole bunch of just serviceable ones. All of these running backs could be starters on other teams. So, and then our offensive line is crazy, which I'm gonna get to next. So, you know, all these running backs should be getting their stats, but none of them are gonna have running back 1, maybe not even running back 2 stats if you're trying to do fantasy leagues. But that's a whole nother discussion, a whole nother series that I'm gonna get to when I'm talking about my fantasy tragedies. Talk about that in a later date. But y'all see my boy at the top, Fat Rob, putting the moves on him. Boy, look at that shape, boy. Hold up. Bring that back. Hold up. Yeah, boy, he wasn't ready, boy. And Vikings had a nasty defense last year, but he had to do it to him. And then at the bottom, my boy Samaj P. Ryan showing that speed, bruh. People think because he a power back, he can't, break off play. Look at that. You can't bring him down. These arm tackles ain't going to work. It's over with, man. People going to be scared of us next year. Watch. And offensive line depth. Now, first of all, look at my boy Trent Williams. He ain't playing with Richard Sherman, boy. Swung on him in the middle, boy. I like it, though. Offensive line nasty. You see the offensive line guru at the bottom. But let me get to this line depth chart. Now, because our offensive line is so great, and offensive lines period don't really rotate that much. They tend to play all the snaps unless barring injury or suspension. So at left tackle, one of the best left tackles period in football, my boy Trent Williams. Already know nobody else getting into that left tackle position, so there's no point in even going into the depth chart for that. Then my left guard, Sean Laval. I don't think he's leaving the game that much either. He's a quality left guard. I would say he's the second weakest spot on our line, but our line is so good that he's not bad. He's just not the rest of the guys, and I'm gonna get to that later. Now, our center, Spencer Long, is the starter, but Ronald Patrick and my boy Good Luck Charm, Chase Roulier, same draft pick as Tom Brady, y'all already know, have great chances to move into the starting lineup because Spencer Long is our weakest point in our great and oftentimes dominant offensive line from last year. So I would say center is our weakest point and left guard would be our second weakest point. But, overall, our offensive line is dominant, so it's really not that weak. But I would like to see Chase Roulier emerge as a permanent starting center that dominates, makes a couple of Pro Bowls, I want this offensive line I want us to be the Hogs again, you know what I'm saying? But right guard, Brandon Sheriff, ain't nobody coming in behind him. Made the Pro Bowl last year. Drafted him just a few years ago. He's really young, but he's already making his name. He is not getting up out that lineup. Now, right tackle, Morgan Moses, emerged as a premier right tackle in this league last year. This line is looking like the return of the Hogs, I'm telling you. And it's a lot of thanks to that boy at the bottom, Bill Callahan. The man who created and trained probably the greatest offensive line in football history, the current Cowboys O-line. And the Redskins were great last year, the offensive line, and they will only get better with Bill Callahan coaching them up. And, I'm feeling like we will win the trenches. All that flashy stuff is cute, but we're not trying to be cute. We're trying to intimidate people on both sides of the ball. And I love the fact that our offensive line is so nasty. Look at Trent Williams at the top left. We ain't playing. Let them know. Even though, we can't be out there doing that, though, bro. We need you on that field. We don't need you out here getting suspended and all that. And fine, we don't want your pockets getting hurt. But we do want that grit. We want that nasty. Now, tight ends. Now, you already know, Jordan Reed is our top pass catcher. He is a little injury prone. But, look at the top right, bro. Look at the plays he's making, man. Look at that one-hand catch. Look at that. They had to pause it for you to see it. Then he making guys miss. That's just Jordan Reed for you. And then we got my boy Vernon Davis at the bottom left. You already know. He's the fastest tight end on our roster. He was killing the game when he was with San Francisco, and he still got some in the tank. Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis can't particularly block very well, especially Jordan Reed. But Niles Paul comes in for the blocking and the catching. He's perfect for our two tight end sets and our run-heavy formations. He can go out on a route and he can block any defender on the field. So I always love Niles Paul. It was sad to see him get injured for the season. Was that 2 years ago when he was supposed to emerge as as the starting tight end on our team, number one on the depth chart. But now, with all that talent he has, he's third now because we got Vernon Davis and Jordan Reed is getting injured less so. And as you can see my boy Niles Paul in the top left running for that route. and doing a backflip, you know, rolling into the touchdown, something light. And then fourth on our tight end depth chart is my boy Jeremy Sprinkle, who we just drafted and who I talked about in my draft video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. He is going to be by far our best pass blocker, and he can be groomed into some pass catching. He doesn't have great acceleration, but his top speed is crazy. He's going to be a huge red zone threat because he's definitely the biggest tight end on our roster. He's huge. And I mean, he's going to emerge as a great tight end. People are going to learn his name eventually for years to come. And next, the wide receivers, man. All right, so of course we got to talk about my boy Terrell Pryor first. From the Browns, he's going to be our number one receiver, of course. Just like I talked about in the previous video, Kirk Cousins loves him. He's never had a wide receiver that big, first of all. And then he's not just 6'3", he's fast too. So I don't know how people going to cover him. But then Kirk Cousins also loves the fact that Terrell Pryor has played quarterback at the NFL level. So, you know, he can tell Kirk Cousins things that Kirk Cousins probably hasn't seen and that other wide receivers would never even notice because he's actually played quarterback. He's playing wide receiver now, but he knows, like, all right, I was open this time and you should have seen me because if I were you, I would have seen me. You know, stuff like that. You know, checking Kirk Cousins, which is a good thing. You know, you want somebody in there that's going to be honest with you and show you a different angle that you didn't see. Now, Josh Doctson at the bottom left making this crazy red zone catch, which is something we were missing the past 2 years. He has the potential to be a wide receiver one easily. We drafted him in the first round with last year, the 2016 draft. And, you know, he's going to require double teams at times too. So I don't know who they're going to double team between Terrell Pryor and Josh Doctson. We just need Josh Doctson to stay healthy. He had an Achilles injury that took him out after 2 games last year. In the first 2 games, he didn't really do much, even though he showed a little bit of what he can do, but it wasn't much. And so then we got Jamison Crowder in the slot. You see my boy at the bottom right of the screen. Just a simple little pass and making a bunch of yards out of it, shimmying through the defense. They had to tackle him from behind. You see the burst of speed, the acceleration. Yo, he's crazy, man. And people gonna respect him. He might have the chance to, you know, take the lid off the defense and replace a little bit of what Deshaun Jackson did with all that speed he has. And then we got the 2 Quicks, Brian Quick and James Quick, who I'm already mad at because they not Quick with their last names. They need to lose that last name on their jersey and earn back each letter, like I said before. Then you got Kendall Thompson, Ryan Grant, Matt Hazel, and Maurice Harris has talent. He has size. We just got to see him come up and emerge. And then, of course, we got my boy from the state, Georgia State, my boy Robert Davis from down the street. He'll have plenty of opportunities to shine. Jay Gruden has said he's already liked what he's seen in OTAs and rookie minicamp. So I hope Robert Davis also emerges as a great wide receiver to add to this already super underrated and deadly wide receiver core we have. Now let's get to the defense. And with our assumed 3-4 defense ran by Greg Minuski, I'm going to start with the left DN right now. You already know it's about to be the GOAT, Jonathan Allen, with Stacy McGee coming in as like a rotated player. You see Jonathan Allen at the top left. You know, he said in the interview he was tired of getting chop blocked by the running back every time, you know, he had a good, you know, chance of getting the quarterback. So he said, you know what? I'm going to use my intelligence. The next play, I'm just going to hop right over him. And look at that hit, boy. I know y'all seen these in some highlight tapes on ESPN. That's my boy Jonathan Allen right there. He going to be a Pro Bowler in no time. All-Pro DN. Just watch. Now, nose tackle. Phil Taylor at the top right. He was a first-round pick for the Cleveland Browns, but injuries have not allowed him to showcase his true talents that he actually possesses and his potential. So as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be crazy with his first-round potential. And if not, if he can't stay healthy and produce like he's supposed to, Ziggy Hood will be forced to play, you know, nose tackle, which is not the best role for him in his natural position. He's better at D tackle or DN. But, he's going to be forcing the nose tackle if my boy Phil Taylor don't pan out. But if my boy Phil Taylor pan out, people going to be like, where'd this Redskins defensive line come from? Out here putting the hurting on people. And then you got right DN Terrell McClain. And with Matt Ioannidis being rotated in, I don't particularly like that position. That's probably our weakest point on our defensive line. But, we'll make do. I mean, Jim Tonsula, boy, the D-line coach, probably one of our biggest offseason pickups this year. He going to have this D-line looking scary. They going to be hurting folks. I mean, this going to be nasty, angry football in the trenches. Y'all know Jim Tonsula. He got a bad rap being the 49ers head coach last year. But it wasn't really his fault. But him as a D-line coach, it's over with. It is over with for y'all. But now, I'm going to get to these linebacker positions. You see my boy, top left, Ryan Kerrigan, putting the moves and getting to Tony Romo. He's going to be our starting weak side linebacker. And I feel like Preston Smith will be rotated in. Many feel Preston Smith will start as strong side linebacker. But I feel like the strong side linebacker will be my boy at the top right, who we just drafted, Ryan Anderson. And I feel that way because he's the most consistent. Now, Preston Smith has the most upside, but he's very inconsistent. And Ryan Anderson, he's going to have a lot of time to show what he's worth with Trent Murphy, out for 4 games with that suspension. But at the end of the day, if Junior Gillette is somehow healthy throughout an entire season and actually plays a regular season game, he's undoubtedly going to be the starter. Or at the very least, rotated into almost any and every pass rushing situation because he's our best pass rusher on our roster. He's better than Ryan Kerrigan because he can do things physically Ryan Kerrigan cannot do. His bend, his speed, the balance he has when he's bending on the edge. He's clearly the best pass rusher on our team when at full health. He was the only person really giving Trent Williams problems in one-on-one drills. And so, we just need to see him healthy for a full season. He had double-digit sacks when he played for New Orleans, and that's why we picked him up. But since then, he's just been injured for 2 straight seasons. Hasn't played a single regular season game. People have forgotten about him. But if he's healthy, people are going to be like, where did this man come from? How did the Redskins get this steal out of nowhere? Y'all see, for real. But as a safe guess for the beginning of the 2017 season, I feel like my boy Ryan Anderson is going to be starting as strong side linebacker with him showing out in OTAs and rookie mini camps and being the most consistent. Now, the left inside linebacker, newly acquired Zach Brown from Buffalo, with Will Compton at times to give Mr. Brown a breather. Zach Brown is way more athletic than any middle linebacker we've had pretty much since Lyndon Fletcher. So I'm excited to see what he can do, especially concerning coverages because we were struggling with that. And he can cover tight ends, which is a huge benefit. And he's going to be able to help us on third downs, which we were either dead last in last year or one of the bottom 3. I mean, we would have like 3rd and 20 on defense, locking up, and then just allow a 30-yard pass, or even just some petty 21-yard pass where the wide receiver catches like a 17-yard catch, and then just like kind of dives for the first down by like an inch, which would later result in a field goal or a touchdown. So Redskins, make sure this is a focus for the offseason. I'm going to bring this up again. But back to my boy Zach. He just came out and recently said he's going for Defensive Player of the Year. He on his J.J. Watt. He not playing with people out here. And the right inside linebacker will be led by Mason Foster, who's the team's general from last game. He's not athletic. He's missed a lot of tackles because he's very limited in his athleticism, his reach, his speed, and all of that. But he's very smart. He's the general on the defense. And, I would love to see us trade for Zach Brown's ex-teammate from Buffalo, Preston Brown, who was 6th in the NFL last year, period, with 139 tackles. And, even with those stats in his production, just because of the new scheme that Buffalo is running, They feel like he doesn't fit the system. So that he's actually on the trading block. So I'm going to need the Redskins to make this move. But I'll get into the moves we need to make later on in a later video. And his backup will be Will Compton, who's also a little bit athletically challenged, I guess you can call it. But, you know, he's out there making plays. Josh Harvey Clemens, you know, my boy that I absolutely rock with the long way. Hopefully he can grow up as soon as possible and become either the backup middle linebacker to be put in the rotation or a solid starting one. He just needs to improve his cover skills, but he has everything else he needs. Now, we're going to get to these cornerbacks. I love our cornerbacks coming up. Of course, our Josh Norman will be our #1 corner, locking up the Dez Bryants, the Odells, the Alshon Jeffreys of the world, until my boy Fabian Moreau is finally healthy and adapts to the NFL level competition. Brashad Breeland will be our #2 corner, sadly. I mean, he has his times, but he just be inconsistent. But, you know, that's only until my boy Fabian Moreau, Mr. Lockup at the top right, showing you what he can do. That's only until he gets healthy and takes that spot from him. And then, of course, we got Quentin Dunbar, Kendall Fuller with all that potential. He just needs to get healthy. He has the potential to be great. Deshaun Phillips. And now we go to the safeties. Now, hopefully, you know, the strong safety position will be solidified by my boy Sua Cravens, who is emerging as the permanent starter at the strong safety position. And, you know, he has all of this potential. He was mostly playing a little bit of linebacker last year, but now he's going back to playing strong safety, which he played at USC when he was making all his great plays and showing all of his talents, which is his more natural position. And DJ Swearinger on the left will coach him up and help him learn how to play the safety position better. And Sua Craven's backups will be Will Blackman, who just recently said that this is his first year actually learning the safety position. So I'm expecting to see a lot of progress out of him. I liked how he was on NFL Network, the NFL Morning Show with all of them. He seemed like a really cool dude, so I wish the best for him, especially since he's on my team. And then Monte Nicholson will have time to develop, get through his rookie pains, and just actually be molded into a decent, strong safety. And my boy Deshaun Everett, I don't know what happened with him, man. He's the hardest hitter on this team. I guess he'll just show out in special teams. But, you know, he's a sort of reliable, strong safety position player. We might see him in there a couple of times. And starting at free safety, my boy DJ Swearinger, got him from Arizona this offseason. Crazy talent. He's about to play free safety really well for us. About to be a definite upgrade from the previous free safeties we've had in the past. He's also quite a veteran, so he's going to be able to coach up the younger players that are playing beside him and behind him in the depth chart. And he'll complement Josh Norman very well. Josh Norman included him in his trash talk, basically saying he'll have my back. I love how aggressive he plays. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he looks in a Redskins uniform. Our safety's going to have diva little wide receivers scared to go out there and catch routes. I love it. Putting fear in these people's hearts. And now we get to these special teams with punter being Tress Way with the super leg. He's 5. Always improving our special team efforts. Making sure the opposing team has bad field position starting out. Love it. Field goal kicker Dustin Hopkins had an off year last year, but he should bounce back. And then, of course, our punt returner will be my boy straight out of Duke, who you see in many of the highlights that I have. He's in like 2 or 3 of them in my intro video. He's the one dancing near the end. My boy, Jamison Crowder. Slot receiver, as I talked about before, but he be killing them folks. But he be shimmying, be making people miss, as you can see in this gif right here. He go crazy. He performed very well last year. Top 5 punt returner last year. Love his game. Can play special teams and wide receiver. Important asset to us. Very excellent draft pick a few years ago. And then kick returners will be Jamison Crowder, of course, and I feel like it'll be Chris Thompson or Will Blackman as the primary kick returners. But if I had to vote, I'd pick Chris Thompson to go alongside Jamison Crowder for most of the kick return snaps. And that there is my depth chart analysis. From here, I'm going to wait it out, see who performs in mini camps, see who performs in training camps, see what trades happen. I'm not going to make any more depth chart guest videos until after preseason and the final depth chart is released so I can truly challenge myself. And I want to see how smart I am, or I want to see how smart the Redskins are. But if you haven't already, especially after seeing that clean intro video, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, favorite, all of that. I appreciate all of my subscribers. I've followed all of y'all back. Well, subscribe back to all of y'all. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for the views. Thanks for the likes. I would like more comments. Thanks for everybody that's commenting. Thanks for everybody that's sharing. I appreciate everything y'all doing. I'll be back with a street report soon. Thank y'all. I'm out.
Why did he? What's that?